Okay, so we're up and running. So welcome to this evening's webinar. As you can see there, tonight's webinar is called Building Your Customer Base. And it's one of a series of 8 webinars that I run in it's called the Kleeneze Circle of Success. But as you can see there, this is the third one. So the first couple were just about kind of getting started, really, when your catalogues arrive and things to do in your first few weeks. And this one is specifically about building your customer base. So this is something that will be ongoing for a little while, from pretty much from day one onwards. And the next 2 in the series are more about the team building side, so starting to build your team and then supporting team members. And the last 3, numbers 6, 7, and 8, are all about those kind of intangible skills that are really important in the business. About kind of growing yourself, if you like, personal development, setting your goals, and your attitude, and how important that is to the business. So I kind of number them, 1 to 8, but actually you can kind of watch them at any time, and they're all recorded. So I'll show you at the end where you can go to see the recordings of the previous ones. So if you wanted to catch up on the getting started one, for example, if you've just started, or if you're interested in a little bit of goal setting or personal development, then you can go back and watch those. So tonight we're going to be covering what is a customer base. Hopefully you kind of have a bit of an idea, but you will hear the phrase customer base quite a lot in Kleeneze if you come to trainings and meetings and so on. And it is a significant kind of milestone, I suppose, in your business. Excuse me, if I pause, it's just because I'm grabbing a quick swig of my tea. So we'll be covering what is a customer base, and then I'm just going to kind of introduce a little bit to why customers order from you and how their behaviour changes as you continue to deliver your catalogues to them. And a bit about bonding with your customers, because this is a really important part. And the result of all of that, this customer base of loyal customers. So, quick question for everybody. Can you tell me at the moment how many customers do you think you have? And I know some of you have only just started, so you might only have 1 or 2 or 10, and some of you will have big customer bases that you've built for a long time. So, Andrew, 190 customers there. Sue, 250, yeah. Jonathan, 15, that's pretty good, seeing as you've only dropped your catalogues once. Mark, 60, that's good, because I know you've only been in the business a few weeks as well. Excellent. I mean, some great figures there. There are people in the business with 1,000 and more customers, and it's entirely up to you. That's the beauty of Kleeneze. You can choose how hard you want to work and how big you want to grow your business. So that's great. Nice to see a variety of numbers there. So let's explain a little bit about how you start to build your customer base and what is a customer base. So we all start off on month 1 with 250 catalogues, 0 customers, and hopefully a bunch of enthusiasm. And let's suppose that each week you decide to deliver 200 catalogues out to the houses near where you live. Now we all start with 250, and I would suggest you should at least try to get your 250 out once a week, twice a week if you've got the time and you want to do it more quickly. But for the purposes of the figures here, let's say 200 catalogues a week that you deliver. And maybe you get 20 orders from customers from those catalogues by the time you've picked up stragglers and so on. So, at the end of your first month, let's say 4 weeks, you've done that 4 times, picked up 20 orders each time. So by month 2, you could have around about 80 customers. So that's great. So then you go back to the beginning again. If you've kind of followed the systems we've talked about earlier, after 4 weeks, you go back to delivering your catalogues to the houses you delivered at the beginning. So at that time, if you're delivering 200 catalogues, you'll be delivering 20 of them to people who have previously ordered from you. So that's 20 to customers and 180 to the other houses that didn't order from you the first time around. Now maybe out of those other houses, you get 10 people that will order from you that didn't order the first time. Some of the customers that ordered from you the first time will order again, but you will find that people will order from you the second and the third and the fourth times that you put their catalogues through. So let's suppose you get, just for the sake of these figures, 10 new customers um, each time you drop round them. So at the beginning of month 3, you've now got 120 customers, 20 a week from the first time, plus an extra 10 the second time you went round. So each week now, you're delivering 30 of your catalogues to customers and 170 to houses that haven't yet ordered from you. Maybe you get another 10 from those 170, and again, these are new customers that didn't order the first time, they didn't order the second time, but you will get people that will order the third time. And there's all sorts of different reasons why people will order the third and the fourth and the fifth time, but not the first and second time. It might just be, they've been busy, they were away on holiday, they didn't see anything that they wanted in the catalogue the first time, but they did the third time. Who knows? And then maybe month 4 we repeat this again. So now you have 160 customers, and maybe so that time in month 4 you're delivering each week 40 catalogues to people who have ordered from you in the past. So these are your customers, and 160 to again houses that haven't yet ordered from you, and maybe you get another 10 from those, and so on. These are just obviously rough figures, it'll never be exactly like this, but hopefully what you can see is each week as you go round, you're finding more and more customers, but you keep delivering to the houses that didn't order from you, because they will order and they will become customers. So you carry on doing that. And if people are in amongst all of those, there will be people that say they don't want the catalogue, so obviously cross those off your list. There will be people that say, I already have a distributor and I'm really happy with them and I don't want another catalogue, thank you. So you can cross those off your list. There'll be grumpy people that just throw the catalogue away and they're not very pleasant to you, and you can just cross those off your list as well, so you don't have to trouble their paths anymore. So gradually you'll be crossing off the people that you're not delivering to, and so a larger and larger percentage of the catalogues you're delivering to are to your lovely customers. After about 6 deliveries to each house, this is what we normally say, the 4x6 routine we call it. So you're going back once every 4 weeks, and you do that for 6 months. So each time to each house, even if they're not ordering from you. After 6 deliveries, that's the point at which we normally say, if there's anybody in that list who hasn't yet ordered from you, then it's probably worth crossing them off. Now, there are a few exceptions to that. If you've got a really good customer and right next door to them is somebody else who you've maybe seen in the garden, said hello to, and they kind of know you a little bit, and they've been looking through the catalogue, but they just haven't ordered from you yet. As you're delivering to their neighbour because they're a good customer anyway, you can always keep delivering to that one. But generally, if you haven't met them and you've maybe struggled to get the catalogue back from them once or twice and they haven't ordered from you 6 times, then cross those people off, because you're better off using those catalogues to deliver to another area where you can find some new customers. One thing I'd recommend, if you can, so this isn't really you have to do this, it's really up to you, but at the beginning, if you can get into the routine of placing an order every week, that will make a big difference. Now, in your first 8 weeks, you get free delivery if you can place an order of over £150. Kleeneze subsidise it, because normally it's £250 to get free delivery, but to help you when you're starting off, you only need to place £150 worth of orders. So if you're able to get your 250 catalogues out once, or at least, or especially twice a week, you've got a really good chance of hitting that and placing an order every week. And if you're not quite hitting that, it might be worth considering paying the delivery charge anyway, because if it means waiting 2 or 3 weeks before you're putting an order in, what you're going to find is that your customers are a bit worried that, crikey, if it takes 2 or 3 weeks every time I put an order in, then maybe I won't order next time. Whereas actually, if you collect their catalogues and deliver to them within a few days, they're going to appreciate that prompt delivery, and you're much more likely to get orders from them next time around. So in building that customer base, if you can get into a routine of putting an order once a week in, it will really stand you in good stead. But if you kind of if money's really tight, and obviously the delivery charge is £6, so if you've only got a small order of kind of £80 or £90, you might be losing a big chunk of your commission there. So I understand if you decide to leave it for 10 days, say, then that's fine. So depending on how much you're looking to earn, you can choose how many customers you collect, because we don't have any boundaries, there are no territories. As I said, there are some people who have 200, 300 customers, some people who have 1,000 customers. It's entirely up to you. But if you want to, you could get to the point where, in a few months, it might take you 6 or 12 months, you could have 800 customers. Each week you'll be delivering 200 catalogues just to your customers. You don't have to do any more blanketing at that point. And what you will find over a period of time, and we're probably talking about over a year, 2 years, 3 years, then you will lose customers. They kind of move house to a different area. Sadly, some of our customers pass away, so you will lose a few. So if you want to keep up that customer base, then it's a good idea to do a little bit of blanket dropping, once a year, twice a year, something like that, just to sort of top up your customer base. But if you get to the point where you've got 800 customers and you're just delivering to your regular customers, one of the big differences you notice is the average order per catalogue that you deliver. So when you're delivering to a blanketing to a new area, we often say it's kind of 50p to £1 per catalogue that you'll earn. So put 200 catalogues out, you could get 100, £150 worth of orders maybe. Once you're delivering to a customer base, if you're delivering 200 catalogues to customers, you will regularly get £1,000 worth of orders and more. And certainly in the Christmas period, I mean, if any of you are friends with other Kleeneze distributors in Facebook, for example, there's lots of people putting out fantastic stories of, like £800 in orders from a single pickup and things like that, just because the customer retail over Christmas goes booming. So, and basically, once you've got to the point where you're only delivering or mainly delivering to people who have ordered from you in the past, this is your customer base. And the big advantage is you get a lot fewer bad pickups. When you're first starting off, it can be very up and down. One day you'll go out, pick up 150 catalogues and get 2 tiny little orders. Another day you'd go out and get 10 orders worth £150. When you've got a customer base, it's much more stable because you're only delivering to people who order from you. So, quick question then. I wonder why customers order from us at the beginning. Can I just ask, for those of you who either have only just joined Kleeneze, or if you were a Kleeneze distributor in the past, can you remember if you'd heard of Kleeneze before you joined, before you became a distributor? Rose, yep, good. You'd heard of it. Anybody else heard or not heard? Anybody want to share? No, Jonathan, you hadn't? Okay. Mark had? Yeah. I know I'd kind of heard of it just because my wife used to order. Yeah, Davina, you'd ordered from it. That's often, you often find customers who become distributors. Yeah, Joe had. Excellent. So, I think what you will find, and that the company has done research in this, because Kleeneze's been around for such a long time. I mean, they've been in business since 1923. Your mum will have ordered from them. Their mum will have ordered. Her mum will have ordered as well from Kleeneze. Excuse me. And so, because it's such a well-known brand, initially your customers buy from the catalogue simply because Kleeneze is a known and trusted brand. It's been established, as I said, there for 90 years. So initially, Kleeneze will buy from you. Before they've met you, they don't know who you are at all. They may not have even seen you. They just come home, they see a catalogue on the doorstep, on the doormat. They write an order out because they recognise the brand. They know it's a reliable brand. They put the catalogue back out, and the first time they meet you is when you deliver the order to them a couple of days later. And that kind of delivering an order to them is a key milestone in you building your customer base, because that first impression that you make with your customer will last you for the rest of your business. If you can show to your customers that you're reliable, that you're polite, friendly, helpful, all of those great kind of customer service attributes, then your customers get to know you and like you. And what then happens, it's kind of like a change. Instead of just buying from Kleeneze, they buy from you. And that's a really significant thing, because that kind of means, and I've got lots of customers who order from me, and they say things like, "Oh, Chris, I didn't know what to order this week, but so it's just got a little order in for you." And I'm thinking, actually, they're not ordering from Kleeneze because they want something. They're ordering from me because I'm a friend. And that's a really kind of, it's a really sweet thing, actually, when you see it happening. And customers, they'll buy gifts for their friends from the catalogue, and it's because they're buying from you. So that's a really significant kind of change in behavior. And what you need to do, if you want to build a successful business based on your customers, is reinforce that kind of that customer rapport, I guess is the word. Customer bonding, there you go, that's what I called it. And this is so important. So, quick question again, and I know some of you might have been on this last time around. What is everybody's favourite word? Any guesses? What if you to ask somebody in the street, what's your favourite word, sir? Any ideas what they might say? Any guesses? In my case, it'd probably be chocolate or beer or something like that. But hello, their own name. John Hawkes, you're cheating. You've seen this before. Brilliant, yeah. I mean, there are obviously lots of words that people like, but research has shown that people like to hear their own name, and that is very true. So there you go, their name. So when you're going round and your customers have filled out an order form, they will write on it Mrs. Johnson or Susie Davis or whatever her name is. And if they tell you their first name, if they've written down Susie, it's because they're happy for you to call them Susie. If they've written down Mrs. Johnson, maybe they prefer to be called Mrs. Johnson for the moment. But make sure you just make a note in your kind of round book or wherever you're keeping your records of their names. So write it down. And as I said, if they've used their first name, if they've told you their first name on the order form, then use it, because they're obviously happy for you to be aware of that. Now, first time you might come across that, obviously you've maybe delivered an order to them, but the following month, when you're delivering your catalogue again, as you're going down the street, maybe popping them in all the letterboxes, you'll be thinking to yourself, oh yeah, I got an order from number 27. Just check your notes, see what the name was. Yeah, Mrs. Johnson, okay. If you happen to see Mrs. Johnson as you're going down, just cheery wave, oh hi Mrs. Johnson, how are you? Just kind of as you're going down, your chances are you won't see them, but if you do, use their name. This has stood me in good stead a couple of times, because when you first go round, if a customer hasn't met you, or very briefly when you delivered an order to them, they might not recognise you. And when you deliver a catalogue to them, what happened to me once was I got somebody who said, oh, excuse me, sorry, I've already got somebody delivering to me, thank you. And I said, oh, hi, Mr. Johnson, yes, it was me, I delivered your order last month. And she said, oh, crikey, Chris, you know what, sorry, I'm really sorry, I didn't recognise you. And she just kind of, because we hadn't met really for very much, she didn't realise that I was the person that had been delivered to her last time. And it would have been very easy for me to think, oh dear, okay, I've obviously trodden on somebody's toes here, or she didn't want me to deliver an order and cross-drop my list. But it was just because she couldn't remember me, but because I'd made a note of her name, and she obviously when I used her name, she was happy for me to continue delivering to her. And use her name every single time that you come across it. And what you'll find, depending obviously on the size of the town where you live, but certainly in Ringwood, the market town where I live and Sue, every time I go into town, around the shops, in the post office, in the supermarket, having a cup of tea or coffee in a coffee shop, I will see a customer. And I always say, oh, hi, Mr. Johnson, how are you? And just that, people love to hear their own name and to be recognised. We talk a lot in Kleeneze of distributors being recognised for their for their kind of for their efforts and performances and so on, and customers like to be recognised as well and have their name used. So if you see somebody, don't forget to use their name. Now at the beginning, you will find that sometimes you'll see somebody and you'll recognise them, and you don't have your notes with you, and you just can't think, oh, I know that lady, she's the one on Graham Street, but I just can't remember her name. So it's not going to work every single time. But the more times you use it, then it will, you'll start to come back and you'll recognize all of your customers. And that's what you want. You want to, every time you go down the town, you want your customers to be saying, oh, hello, Chris, how are you? And getting to know them. And when you're delivering orders to them or collecting catalogues or whatever, you may well come across their dog, for example. Quite often dogs will come to the door to see who's there. Or maybe when you're delivering an order, you call her up and just sort of say, you call the customer up and just say, is it okay to bring your order around? And she might say something like, oh, I've just got to nip to the hospital because my husband George has gone in for a checkup or something. Just make a little note, a mental note if you're good at remembering those things, or write it down if you want to. Because if next time you see them, it's great just to sort of say, oh, how's George? You said he was in the hospital last time I was popping round. Or when the dog come round, when you see the dog, we don't have a dog at all. I like dogs, but it's not I don't have a dog myself. But if I see a dog at a customer's house, I always make a fuss of the dog and ask what the dog's name and so on, because they love dogs, or they wouldn't have one. So if you're really sort of affectionate to the dog, then you and your customer have got something else in common then. So okay, what else can you do? So looking out for special occasions. If I go around one of my customers' house and I'm delivering an order or something like that, and there's lots of cards in the window, I always ask, oh, is it somebody's birthday or anniversary or something like that? And if you get to know their birthday, I always like to make a note of it. And you can, if you want to, this time next year, you've made a note of when their birthday is, send them a birthday card. They will absolutely love it. Or at least wish them happy birthday if you've kind of got it noted down, because they'll be thinking, blimey, how did you know it was my birthday, Chris? That's fantastic. The other thing is at Christmas. So we're coming up to Christmas now, fantastic time of the year. If you've been in the business for more than a year, hopefully you will know about this, but Christmas cards are a real boost to your business. And what you do is just buy either what I've done for the last few years, although we're doing it slightly differently this year. We're kind of making our own Christmas cards. But the last few years, I just buy several boxes of the you can get the pack of 30, a variety of 30 Christmas cards, sort of £3 or something from Kleeneze, and just handwrite them with their name. So Merry Christmas, Mr. Johnson and family, from Chris and Sarah, and I just put in brackets Kleeneze. So partly that'll just remind them when they see the card, but also if any of their neighbours around, neighbours like to have a look at, oh, your Christmas cards from. So if they see that your neighbour has got a Christmas card from the Kleeneze distributor, they're going to think, oh, wow, that's so sweet. So little things like that, Christmas cards, they're an absolute great idea, and you will definitely get, apart from the year-long kind of boost from just sending them a Christmas card, you always get a big boost to your orders on the time that you're delivering the Christmas card. And the way you do that is you handwrite all your Christmas cards, put it through the letterbox at the time you deliver the catalogue to them, not inside the plastic bag, because if someone's busy and they haven't got time to put an order out, then they might just pick it up and put the whole thing back out and not even realise you've given them a card. So put it through at the same time but separate, so it falls down. Often you'll find somebody will look at the card and think, oh, wow, they've sent me a Christmas card. And then they'll have a look at the catalogue and order something from you when maybe they wouldn't have done anyway. But quite often, January and February, you'll get an increase in orders because people have, they remember the card that you sent them. My recommendation is you do this if you're doing kind of you've got 4 different rounds, if you see what I mean. So you're doing 4 weeks. Do it in the last 2 weeks of November and the first 2 weeks in December. I think if you start doing your Christmas cards too early, even I quite often get told by my customers when I'm putting it out in the second or third week in November, oh, you're my first Christmas card. And not in a bad way. They're kind of quite happy that they started to get them. But if you start putting them out in kind of, October, hoping that you're going to get sort of 3 or 4 months of good orders, then it's probably a bit too early. Anyway, what else can you do? So Easter cards, we've done Easter cards in the past, and that works well as well. Just obviously Christmas is in December, Easter is normally kind of March, April time, so another little card at that time will definitely boost your orders again. A couple of years ago, or a year ago, it was Kleeneze's 90th anniversary. And my wife Sarah just baked a load of little biscuits. You can kind of see a picture of them there. little biscuits. We just kind of chocolate coated them and wrote the 90 on. And we just popped one of those through in a tiny little plastic bag to each of our customers with a little card that we'd got printed. Just said, to celebrate, have a little treat on us to celebrate Kleeneze's 90th anniversary. And we got loads and loads of orders from then. And one customer, my favourite customer, said, "Oh, Chris, that was so sweet of you. How did you know it was my 90th birthday?" And actually, she'd been born in 1923, the same year that Kleeneze started. So there you go. Just little things like that. It's a little bit of effort to get it all together, but just that customer base will reward you month in, month out, month in, month out. So as I've said there, all of that bonding, all of those things that you're doing, will result in customers that know you, which is the first step, and then they like you because they feel like a bond with you, and they trust you. And that trust is such an awesome thing. And as a result of all of that, you get lots and lots of regular orders. And so hopefully you can see that when you've got a customer base of loyal customers, then it just makes your life so much easier, and it's so enjoyable. I mean, my favourite bit of the business is going out, seeing my customers and helping them. A lot of them are kind of elderly ladies that just really look forward to seeing you. So it's a really great part of the business. Okay, so coming towards the end now. So what we've covered is just explaining what is a customer base. Hopefully you've got an idea of that now. Explaining why customers order from you at the beginning before they've even met you, just because of the Kleeneze brand, but then they start to order from you more and more often and bigger orders as they get to know you and like you and trust you. And that customer bonding can kind of result in, as I said there, that base of loyal customers. So that's the end of number 3, the how to build your customer base. Next week is the start of team building. And I mentioned earlier that all of these are recorded, so I'm just going to turn off the recording for the moment. Bear with me while I do that.